Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Sub Hub podcast. I'm MK Sullivan.
And I'm Dani Moreno. And welcome back, y'all. It's been a minute. August has been incredibly busy, as it always is, but we're super excited today to do a big ol' recap of the UTMB World Series final OCC. There was a lot of fun drama, chaos, I don't know what to call it, just like normal race stuff. And so, yeah, we're excited to be back. We'll also touch upon my race. But yeah, first and foremost, how are you doing, MK?
I'm good. Life looks a little bit different here in third trimester. I am not running anymore, but I am swimming a lot, walking quite a bit because my dogs are like gonna eat me if I don't take them on hikes, and still lifting, working on my baby holding, baby lifting muscles, because this weak little runner girl definitely could not have done it prior to swimming, maybe. But no, I mean, pregnancy is still rolling just fine. I was telling Dani we are at the point where we set up all of the remainder OB-GYN visits through our due date. We even have one set on our due date, and that just feels crazy that we're already at that point. So yeah, 7 weeks to go, if I'm on time.
Wow, it's the home stretch. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting to the point where it's like, okay, I am pregnant. Like my back is like, starting to have a little bit of discomfort just because my belly's so much heavier on the front. And yeah, I can't like I'm wearing mostly Tommy's clothes if I'm not wearing like my cute little pregnancy outfits. We're doing maternity pictures next week, doing like a
Oh,
little shoot. So it's exciting. Just he's moving a lot. This morning he had the hiccups for like 15 minutes and I was like, I'm just gonna wake up. This is not worth staying in bed for. But yeah, I'm getting really excited. So
that's awesome. Yeah, it's funny that you say you're pregnant when it's like almost 8.5 months.
I know. It felt like it took forever to get to the point where people were like, okay, you actually look pregnant now. But how are you feeling? You were out at UTMB week and actually in France for quite some time. Um, I mean, a lot of people know how it was already, but give us a little bit more.
Give it a little bit more. I'm good. Yeah, I'm back home now, have the grace. MK knows I am not a morning person, and this is the few times a year where I become a morning person by default. But yeah, if you follow on Instagram, you'll see that I did end up dropping out. So four out of four visits to Chamonix for UTMB week, two of them have been DNFs, and I just have to say this one is way easier. You guys might know our famous slash infamous episode where we were both crying after OCC. And there was a couple of tears shed in the I call it the DNF booth. It's an aid station. Uh, in the DNF booth. When I DNF'd, there were so many people around me DNF, like poor Kat Bradley, she was shedding tears. There was a woman, Charlotte, who I know from Santa Barbara, she was DNFing. Everyone was crying. It was really sad. But yeah, after that, once I decided, and my husband did a great job of making sure I was very, very sure it was the call I wanted to make, because he was like, if you try and go to Triant, it'll be the first you've ever run. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to do that today. And he's like, "Are you sure? Like you can make it to France?" I was like, "I'm good. I'm good. I can do that at home. I could run the furthest I've ever had at home." But yeah, I think just because it was the right choice, it made it so much easier. I feel like a couple years ago, it felt like there was a lot going on. Like I had already been spinning kind of out of control, whereas this, I felt like I processed all of the outcomes before the race, and kind of split them up into percentages. And so, yeah, pulling the plug, I was like, this is the right call. Live to see another day. And I'm glad I tried, to be honest. Like, it was a freaking roller coaster to get to the start line. So at least I don't need to worry, like, wonder what if. And I really, really still want to do the race, which tells me I wasn't traumatized.
Yeah, Danny and I are planning CCC
26,
comebacks.
let's go.
So pray for us and our brains.
Pray for
Um,
us.
no, I'm stoked. Like we talked a lot about this prior to the race. CCC is like the perfect race for the American contingent, because it's like oddly runnable despite the fact that there's 20,000 feet of vert over 100K. So it's definitely a race that you and I could both excel at. We just have to have the right circumstances, lining up on the day. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. It was it's so different from OCC, like
yeah,
so, so different. Now I feel like I can comprehend what people mean when they say that sort of thing, that the races couldn't be like OCC truly is a mountain race. Again, kind of laughing because it is 100K with almost 20,000 feet of vert. But I think OCC, like, you just have to be able to climb and descend so fast, climb, descend like four times in a row, up, down, up, down, up, down. Whereas CCC, you get some reprieve between the climbs and you could run. And
yeah,
nothing is, at least from what I saw from course scouting, like the most technical part is the downhill into Valor scene, and it doesn't even last that long. It's like 5K, and
yeah.
that's about it. Like that's the most technical part. But otherwise, it's like I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's cool to like see a different aspect of the sport, and I'm excited to give 100K another try. And yeah, now I'm home. I'm gonna get another X-ray and then go from there. I feel like I did a lot of band-aiding and kind of rolling with the punches, which was both invigorating and exhausting for like 5 weeks. And so I'm excited to like close that chapter and then start this new one.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're glad you're home, glad that we're working on getting healthy, and we'll see where the rest of
Yeah.
the
C'est la vie.
year goes. I mean, it's only September, so which is
Dude,
feels weird to
oh,
say.
did you say only September?
Yeah.
It's already September.
I know, I feel both ways where I was like, the year's almost over, and then I was like, September's actually like still summer, so I don't know what.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still a lot of racing to be had. Yeah, I totally feel that way because it feels like the bookend, but then it's
Yeah.
like you have Golden Trail, World Champs, Mammoth Trail Fest, bunch of
I
races
think
in Europe.
I think that's part of what makes UTMB so weird as like the unofficial like championship of the year is that it's still so early in the season, kind of.
Yeah, it's almost the kickoff to the championship season, but it's
Yeah.
so of a like huge freaking kickoff. It's the
And
biggest kickoff because it's
and
the
it like
biggest
if
final.
you it's a huge stressor too. So it's like you I think you've got to just like be experienced in order to be able to come back from like UTMB week and be like, all right, I'm doing another race this year. Because it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, even if you take the in quotes shortest distance of the week, that is a championship. I mean, ETC, we can kind of talk about it, is getting bigger, but there's no prize money for
Yeah.
ETC. So it's like of the prize money contenders, OCC, it's very rare someone does really well OCC and continues that through like Golden Trail World Series finals. If I
Yeah.
think of like the past champions on both sides, it's like, yeah, Eli, Tony, Meow Yao, Poopy, like no one went on a tear after, you know?
Meow Yao and Judith both like really struggled after OCC last year at the
Yeah,
America races.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's just gonna, yeah, you kind of have to pick and choose.
And this year
Or,
you add in world champs too.
yeah,
It'll be interesting to see like just how the rest of the year kind of unfolds.
totally. Yeah.
But let's talk OCC for a bit.
Let's talk OCC. So this was pretty cool experience for me last year. Maybe you had it, but like not racing on the first day
Yeah.
was very unique. I'm like, oh, like people are starting to race and I'm just gonna watch it. Like that feels weird. But it was super cool because I got to watch pretty much the whole race, like toggling between like live streaming and then I got to go out pretty much like I would say 8K out from the finish. But there was some fun, I don't want to say drama like changes. Maybe it is drama. But for those that
We can
don't
make it
know,
drama.
we can make it drama. A couple days out from when the race was supposed to happen, they changed the course due to weather,
Like
which
big
is
time.
crazy. Yeah, so that's the second time in the last 4 years. So every other year in the last 4 years, they've changed the course due to weather. So just if y'all are interested in running any of the UTMB races in the future, note that because I feel like similar to Western states where everyone was super heat trained heavy, a lot of people I talked to were still heat training to UTMB
Because
expecting that.
last year was so hot.
Exactly. But like there's bad weather years. And so the course changed from a 55K to a 63K. And, I'll call myself out because both on our preview and the free trail preview, which we recorded before the course change, I didn't have Jim Walmsley winning, but I have the receipts, y'all, because I texted MK as soon as the course changed. I was like, oh, Jim's winning this, like hands down, because the course just turned into like more of a running course. I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you were just saying prior that OCC was a mountainous race. It had four big climbs that you had to tackle. This year, it had one 2,000-foot climb and then this massive second climb. But that's it. Like, just basically two climbs.
Yeah.
So it was a completely different race. It ended up being 37 miles with 10,500 feet, whereas OCC is usually like 34 miles with almost 13K. So, yeah, definitely more of a running race than what we've seen in the past. Because even when they changed the course in 2023, was that
Yeah.
2023? It was still like a 55K with about 13K.
Yeah. The third climb changed, but that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And they
This
took
was a
out a
completely
semi,
different race.
yeah, and they took out like a semi-technical portion in 2023, but they still had the two main downhills, which I think are super key for developing how the race develops in OCC. And those are the downhill from the Bovine to Triant is like semi-technical, and you see moves there. And then the last downhill from Les Flégères to Chamonix, which was so sad to see because that's such an iconic finish to like have people do that final climb and do the final descent. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, less vert. And from what I heard from athletes who race there was little to no technical terrain. Like there was a little bit on the first downhill where it was kind of like rolling down, but it was very, very, very fast. Like there was sections of like double wide gravelish road. And then you climb, 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 and then the last downhill was actually they did the same climb from 2023, and then they went up and over the Grand Col, not Grand Colfray. Oh my God, the Col de Bombe, and then they finished backwards on Mont Blanc Marathon, which was crazy fast. That's
Because
not
that
technical at
it's fast
all.
going uphill on
Yes,
that course.
exactly. Like you could run the whole thing. So, essentially they had, let's see, 23 miles, 35. So they had 12 miles of downhill, roughly, to finish.
Damn, that's a lot.
That's
Because
a
usually
lot.
the last downhill is like 4 miles and it's pretty steep.
Yeah, yeah. And technical. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
not the most technical, but you have to pay attention for a vast
Oh,
majority
yeah.
of it. Yeah, crazy. So yeah, as soon as that course changed, I went into free trail, put gym number one, especially since it was longer. And I felt like for the fans, you would have assumed that the best, I don't want to say the best runners, but runners with speed were gonna be the most favorable. And that was mostly true because both of the winners, I would say, probably have like some of the faster road times. I don't know what Joylene is, but she can run.
She's 2 times
Meow,
Sears and all champion, so she's got to
yeah,
be fast.
Meow in second. Christian Magliano was kind of the wild card because he's a sky runner.
Skyrunner.
But yeah, no, it was pretty crazy. Um, but yeah, there were a couple of fun kind of things that happened as well, which were also kind of a bummer. The first thing is there was a train stop near the Martini aid station that some athletes were periodically getting stuck behind just based on like bad luck. And so there's a key part of the race where Joylene and Meow were kind of running together, and Judith and Sarah were kind of working off each other, and then Judith and Sarah got stuck, which I thought that was a bummer, but that just like kept happening the entire day. And then it also seemed like maybe there was some at the Martini aid station, it was tough to find water for some athletes.
Yeah. And part of me was like, maybe they just didn't have time to like get the water ready because that Martini aid station is not on the original OCC course, but they did change the course far enough out that you would think that that aid station would have been ready to go. But yeah, Meow Meow mentioned it in her um recap, but then we also went back and watched, and yeah, it seems like all of the athletes are rolling up into that aid station like, where's the water? Like, what's going on? Because that's mile 14. Like, at that point, you really need to start restocking, you know?
Yeah, because also with the weather, it was thunderstorms, which is why they changed the course. But from talking to my friends on the Terex team that ran it, it did seem like there was some weird pockets where it was extremely humid. And so athletes, being told it's going to be cold, it's going to be thunderstorm, you need your cold weather kit, then, starting the climb and being like, why is it so hot and swampy?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't planning for this. Yeah, it did seem like athletes had to kind of problem solve. At one point, Petter like dumped his head into this stream that was like going downside the mountain. I was like, oh man, I totally feel for you because I don't know if I would do that. But he was just so hot. He had to cool down,
Yeah.
and Jim Walmsley did at one point. So yeah, it was a very, very interesting OCC for sure.
Yeah. And it's like on a day like that when it's so humid, you and I talked about this when you texted me, like at World Champs in 2023, it was this kind of same weather where it was like drizzly all day. And I remember the sun came out for like 10 whole minutes, and it felt like I was in like this oven, just like this hu
Yes.
or like the sauna. And I was like, oh my God, please start raining again. I would way rather take the mud than this like kind of hot, steamy humidity that there's almost nothing worse, especially if you live and train in the mountains where it's like not never humid.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it can get super, super swampy very quick, especially like in the trees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, as soon as I touched down in Reno, I was like, this feels so much nicer than
Yes.
what I was just in. Just like normal dry heat. I'm like, this is nice. Like I can be in this all day.
Yep.
Um, but
I
yeah,
had
oh,
I was
go
just gonna
ahead.
say I had similar experience coming from Texas this last weekend. So, I was basically over in France for
Exactly,
UTMB.
exactly. Same, exactly. Oh man. But yeah, so that's kind of like the context of it all, which was um pretty cool. And the last things I will say, just like notes from athletes, is is when the course changed, as per usual, there's usually a happy camp and a sad camp. And I think the happy camp was people who probably had some more speed in their legs, and probably aren't the best technical runners was like the happy camp, and people who could grind like a very, very long runnable climb. Whereas the sad camp, and we could kind of see it reflected-ish in the results were, athletes who tend to thrive on those very technical downhills, maybe don't have as much like speed in their legs, etc. Um, but yeah,
I
shall
would
we
have
start?
been in the happy camp.
I would have been in the happy camp.
Yeah.
I When I
A
saw the course sheet,
long
I was like, I
runnable,
should have done
yeah.
OCC. Like that seems great.
A long runnable grind of a climb, sign me
Exactly.
up. I could do
Exactly.
that all day.
Well, it's crazy because that climb, let's see, I have Sarah Alonso, who was fifth place, her Strava up. When she started it, we'll call it an hour and 52 minutes. So she climbed for an hour, descended for 8 minutes, not even. And then she climbed for another hour. So it's basically like hour climb, downhill
Small
for
descent.
10 minutes, hour climb. Like
It's just
that's
like a
crazy.
really big workout.
Yeah. Really, really big workout.
And then runnable climb all the way, or runnable descent all the way to the finish.
I was like, this was the year for Americans to do OCC.
But everybody signed up for CCC.
Exactly. Joke's on us. Hilarious.
Uh,
Oh man. Yeah, I was talking with Tabor Hemi too. She was also like, that would have been great. That sounds awesome.
yeah.
Um,
So, I mean,
men's race or women's race first?
let's talk men's race.
Cool. Um, all right. So, from being there in person, the race development in general was that Jim Walmsley, Petter Engdahl, so Jim Walmsley of the United States representing Hoka, Petter Engdahl, he is Swedish but lives in Norway representing Adidas Terrex, and actually Sam Henry was a huge surprise for a lot of us. Canadian, currently unsponsored, took the race out, like out of Champagne, and the TV announcers had trouble identifying Sam Henry until Tabor like actually texted somebody and was like, "That's who this is."
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, Sam was having quite a day, and they stayed together, kind of pushing each other, I would say, through like 10 miles or so, uh, before they started like the long, long climb. And then that's when there started to be some separation of Jim and Petter from Sam. And then actually Ueda started coming up, Japanese athlete representing Solomon and Red Bull, and was making a huge push, like trying to break Jim and Petter and climbing just like a freaking madman. But Jim seemed to be able to respond to any move that Rui or Petter was making on him. Like, which I mean, no surprise, right? Like a long runnable climb,
Yeah.
you're gonna pick Jim Walmsley.
Yeah.
But Petter still was holding on and he was climbing really, really well. And it was the Jim show, like for a really long time, all the way pretty much up over a col de Blanc. Like the guys were still on his tail, but it seemed like he like had already run away with the win. And he starts this descent, and then what's his
Christian
name?
passes him, right?
Uh, well, actually, it first was the UK runner. Oh, he's just missing right now. He was
Oh,
fifth place.
Christian.
Christian Jones started closing in on Jim Walmsley on the downhill. Um, and so Christian Jones and then Andres Witek from Poland was like kind of starting. You could see him like starting to move up the ranks as well. And then also Christian Minogino, the Italian runner. I actually don't know who he's sponsored by. Do you know who he's sponsored by?
He's sponsored by one of those like mountain brands.
Okay, which makes
I'll
sense.
look it
He's
up.
primarily a sky runner. So they
Yeah.
all start this downhill, which, if I was a person, betting on horses, I'd be throwing all the money on Jim, 100%, because you know what's coming up. And the craziest thing happened, you guys, is at the aid station, I forget what it was, but basically they had made it to now the lower part of the Mont Blanc Marathon. I want to say they were in Argentière, which
Yeah.
is where this is how crazy that was. Um, Christian Minogino Gio passes him. And Tony and I were like, right, Tony McCann, we're right after the aid station. And Christian comes through. And I'm so sorry for thinking this. Christian, me and Tony felt so bad. We're like, Jim must have taken a wrong turn, was our default, right? I think most people would have thought that. But no, Christian had passed him. So Jim, I guess, stopped at the aid station to get a little bit more water, and Christian just ran through. And Christian looked so freaking good. And I'm like, is this about to happen? Because we saw them both climb up this hill, and Christian was climbing better, 100%. Um, and we saw Jim, and we're like, oh, Jim might be hitting a wall. And then after that, it was like man after man after man. Like these guys were sprinting like mad people. Adam Peterman starts rolling in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Adam Peterman was like, I want to say in like ninth at that point. David Norris was like right behind Andrew Peterman. It was like Luca, Adam, Christian, David Norris, Antonio Martinez, where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy race. Like they all looked like they were running so fast, which is not surprising. They're running downhill. Like the part we were on was literally a gravel trail. Like they were
Yeah.
just sending it. Um, and so then they get to the path that runs along the like famous river that goes through Chamonix. I actually don't know what it's called, but it's flat, guys. Like that's where I go do my easy runs. Every American is out there running flat. And like Jim starts rolling up on Christian again, actually looking like he's in pain, which I feel like is rare for Jim. Like he's struggling, and Christian looks like a freaking tank. And eventually, like Jim rolls up on him and pats him on the
Pats him
back, and
on the back.
I was like, oh, that was so savage. Like that had to be a brain game for sure. Because after that, you could see the camera like on Jim's face. He was in pain, but Christian can't see that. Like he
Yeah.
just sees Jim running away. But Christian had no response to him. And so Jim ends up winning only by 15 seconds,
Insane.
which was
And
crazy.
up until he got to like that final maybe like 10 meters, he still was gritting his teeth,
And
looking
Christian was
like he was
there.
in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he like finally puts a smile on like and a big like hurrah face like as he grabs the tape. Like he fought for every single moment of that race.
I feel like that's one of the happiest finishes I've ever seen done by him.
Yeah.
Like like probably top five. I feel like his UTMB win had like a similar vibe, but he wasn't gritting his teeth. He had run away with the race by then.
Yeah.
Whereas OCC, he looked like he was like he had to finish that. If he had let up, he would have been caught.
Yeah.
It
Like
was
even for a
crazy.
second.
Yeah. And
It's
so Christian was second. I forget how old this guy actually is, but
well, he's
he's
in the 40
40.
to 40 to 44 age group range.
Which freaking legend, man.
Yeah.
Like someone did not have in my top 10, and he's a
Nope.
freaking, I would say he's a sky runner. Like you look at his results, he won Monte Rosa, which I heard is very, very technical, just a heads up for anyone doing UTMB World Series races. Um, and then Andrzej Witek, Polish A6 runner, was third, had like a freaking day out there, and Petter Engdahl just like right behind. Um, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. No, I loved watching that like finish because I didn't wake up early, so I didn't get to watch it much of it, but I watched, like the last little bit. And it was, I mean, first off, the US men crushed it this year, like Jim
Yep.
Walmsley
Yeah.
first, Adam Peterman in sixth, and David Norris in ninth, like super cool. But to see Jim Walmsley like look like a human in a race was pretty awesome. Now we just need him to do CCC, like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
Get
stoked that he
that
did
three.
OCC, but go ahead and check all three boxes, get all three wins. Great race overall.
Yeah. I mean, if you like had told me that was going to be the course a month before, I would have been like, US men are going to crush. Like
Yeah.
it was so fast, MK. It was crazy to see. Like, and Mont Blanc Marathon. Like
Oh yeah.
you can run that all uphill fast. Imagine it downhill. Um,
Yeah, when we were running uphill on that, I felt like we were running like 6:30 pace or something. Like,
No, we were. Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy. But just like to call these out. So Jim with the win, 5 hours. Christian Mino Gio, Italian runner, 5 hours 55. Andrea Witek, Poland, 5:04. Petter Engdahl, 5:05. Christian Jones of the UK, 5:05. He was up there and he fell a little back on that last part. Sixth place, Adam Peterman, US. Great result coming off of Western States, 5:06. Luca Del Piero, another Skyrunner, I would say, primarily Skyrunner 5:07. Antonio Martinez back in eighth, 5:10. David Norris, 5:12 of the US. And then 10th place, Sam Henry holds on for top 10, 5:17. Yeah, I feel like, to be honest, the Skyrunners surprised me, i.e., Christian Minogio, Luca Del Piero, Antonio Martinez, like people that are normally known for technical stuff. Like I thought it was really impressive that they were able, and Petter, honestly, too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sam Hendry, like just shout out to him. Like you said, he's unsponsored, but he's also like in med school right now.
I was
So
gonna say he's in med school right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's just like he hasn't raced much, but when he does, he's been having pretty good days because it seems like he's just racing when he can.
Yeah,
So
I would agree with that too. It was cool to see him like take it out.
yeah,
So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, Jim Walmsley now the second American to win OCC. Both of them have been men, which is pretty cool to see. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Time-wise, I have to admit I didn't really have an estimated time, but all I know is it's freaking fast.
yeah. This like the fact that it was a six, like it was longer but had way less vert. I didn't know what this race was gonna look like at all, other than that it was, yeah, just gonna be a fast day. So
Yeah, I was
yeah,
really hoping he would post his Strava, but Jim has not posted on Strava in a very long time. But like for reference, Petter Engdahl's he ran 8:12 pace and like general in his gap was 6:14.
yeah.
So
With that big long grindy climb.
yeah, and his last like his downhills all seem to be between like 6:30 and 7 minute pace, I would say. Um, so yeah. One thing I will speculate with the men's race, it was very interesting that there was still so much movement with 5K to go. And I think because it was such a long downhill, the guys who like paced themselves well, knowing they were about to run downhill for, I
12
mean,
miles.
yeah, 3:34. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're running downhill for an hour and a half fast.
Yeah.
Like CCC, you're running downhill, but you're not sprinting
No.
that down. So sprinting for an hour and a half, like a half marathon, It did seem like the guys who paced themselves end up still catching some places towards the end.
Yep.
Yep.
I think you should just run through the women's race too, because you were out there. You did a great job just now on the men's. So
Oh, sorry. I'm
no,
like
I like because I just like was catching up afterwards. I feel like you've got a lot more insight. So that was great.
Well, we should point out that men's winner, Jim Walmsley, also uses Never Second.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so Never Second had two winners, Jim Walmsley and Ruth Croft. So two pretty big wins, y'all. And if you think about it, Ruth Croft and Abby Hall, the two women winners of like the most elite ultras you could win this year, both using Never Second. They definitely are doing something right. I personally had planned to use a lot of the unflavored gels, as you've heard me and MK and I kind of hyping up, which was really cool. And so, yeah, if you would like to try Never 2, use Subhub 25.
Yep. At checkout. Uh, if you want to be like Jim Walmsley and Ruth Croft and Abby
Easy
Hall.
said as done. Yep. All you gotta do is eat it. Yeah, never2.com. Well, how
Yeah.
about you roll through these women's results first,
Yeah,
and then
for
I'll
sure.
dive in.
So, historic day out at OCC, our first Kenyan athlete winning in a UTMB race in Joylene Chipniano. Honestly, not a surprise to me, even with the course change, I was like, no doubt she's winning, but even before, I would like she just seems untouchable. Two-time series and all winner. She ran 5:34:03 and seemingly led from 14, mile 14 on. So um, super stoked for her. Second place, Meow Yao, who was last year's winner, ran 5:35. Um, Judith Weeder was third this year, second last year in 5:38. Maud Mathis on the comeback in fourth place, running 5:45. Sarah Alonso finishing in fifth, right behind her in 5:50. Ida Amelie Robson from Norway, 5:52. Rosa Lara Faliu in seventh at 5:55. Ika Marsala, 5:56 in eighth place. Jasmine Lowther from Canada in 6:02. And Elisa Marin from Canada in 6:03.
Yeah, no Americans in the top 10.
Kind of crazy. That's the first time in a while.
Yeah, yeah. At least since 22. I don't remember what happened in 21, to be
Me either.
honest. But yeah, no American women.
Claire
Yeah,
DeVoe, first American woman at 13th place.
yes, yeah, which was awesome. And
Yeah.
Hannah Ogden right behind her. Yeah, the women's race was super interesting because the first climb they actually had like a pretty big pack, whereas the men it broke away immediately, like Jim and Petter and Sam were like a pot of three, and then it was everybody else. Whereas the women, Joylene and Meow, like had the lead, but like maybe by like 10 or 15 steps because Judith Weeder, Maud, Sarah. Sophia Lockley, actually, Hannah Allgood, they were all kind of like in this chase pack. Even Ikram at a couple of points there too, during that descent going into the long climb. But yeah, Joylene and Meow set the pace freaking all day. And there was a point, again, by that Martini aid station where the pack broke up due to a train, y'all, which was such a bummer to see. As an athlete, I just like feel for those moments because you're already like so
Keyed
hyped.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, that like when something like that happens, and at least for me, when I feel like something is like unfair, unjustifiably, it's just like the timing of the train. But it's like there's when that th what's that called? When the cord what
Breaks. Yeah, yeah.
breaks, it's so hard to not feel like you need to rush to close it
Yes.
again, especially when you're running so fast. So I really like applaud Judith and Sarah for, sticking in it and still both ending in top five. But anyways, on the long climb, Meow was leading, like, and she looked good. Her very like it's pretty funny. Her and Jim Walmsley have like very similar forms. They're like bouncy
They're up
bunny
and
rabbit.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and she looked really, really good. And then it looked like she had gotten a little frantic, which we then learned on her Instagram post that she was expecting water at the aid station at Martini, which it looks like maybe there wasn't a proper aid station, or sorry, water, but there was like the fountains, and maybe she just
Oh,
like had trouble figuring that out. Um, but anyways, Joylene caught up to her, and then it was just them the rest of the day. And each one of them would make moves here and there, but Joylene couldn't shake Meow, and Meow couldn't shake Joylene. So it was pretty cool, like seeing them go after it. And especially, this just like proves to me if Meow's gonna line up for OCC, you always have to count her in because Sears and Al, they weren't in the same breath of conversation. Like,
no.
which is crazy. And here was Meow like really taking it to Joylene. Um, and then there's interesting race development behind them, like coming into Trion. So this is before the long 2 hour climb. Essentially, Maud actually moved into a strong third place, and it looked like she was actually gaining on Joylene and Meow. Not surprising, Maud's specialty is climbing. And so she was definitely like making a push on the climb. But Judith Weeder, one of our freaking short trail goats, as they were approaching the top of Col de Balme, had reclosed that gap. It was never huge, but as soon as that downhill hit, like you always got to bet on Judith Weeder. And she actually really started closing. I mean, she brought it back down to 3 minutes, and they were estimating the train added like a minute, which sucks, right before like a big climb. And then Sarah, very similarly, kind of just like was fighting back the rest of the day, ended up fifth. And then I would say the top like 6 or 10 women, very, very similar to the men, like all came in looking like they were just sprinting their heads off, and like people just hit the wall again, like 5 to 6K out. It was so weird, like, such a crazy race.
Yeah, no, it seemed like it.
Oh,
And
sorry, I forgot the last part. So Joylene, this was crazy. Like along the river, got on her knees and looked like she was about to throw up. And she looked so scared. She was looking back because Meow was closing hard. And people
yeah,
were like, is she cramping? Like, what is going on? And she just like pulled herself together, looked uncomfortable, and just brought it home. But it like looked like she was about to like pull over and like, just start vomiting. It was
yeah.
crazy.
And I was just about to say it was crazy seeing videos of her on the start line, like crying, which I would have thought, prior to watching this happen and listening to her like post-race interview, I was like, oh, she's just nervous as all get out. And she may have been, but like she talked about in an interview with UTMB afterwards that like she's just so like grateful to be in the position that she's in, and she like in that moment was like I cannot finish this race, but she thought about all the like hardships that she'd been through to get to that point, and like 13,000 euros is a big payday, and so just like wrapping her head around that and thinking about her children, she got up and she kept going and she won the damn thing.
Yeah. So, so inspiring. And don't forget to subscribe to the SubHub headlines because this is kind of touched upon in there. But Joylene has won this year now Mont Blanc Marathon, Sierre Zinal, and OCC. And I can't think of a single athlete that has done that. The only ones that have come to mind without me deep diving is there's some athletes that have won two, both Mont Blanc and Sierre Zinal, which are like Killian, Sophia Lockley, and there might be like a couple more. Those are just the ones that like come to mind in the same year. But no one has won all three asterisk mark from me saying that from what I know. I'd have to like dive down. And I mean, any one of those wins is freaking epic. But to
Yeah.
do it in three, like the three races and all semi-dominant-ish, is like, she currently is my pick for Troy
Yeah.
because like the only other woman that I would consider of this, like having such a same year, is currently Ruth Croft with wins at Tarawera 100K, Maxi Race 60K, and UTMB. However, if we're comparing apples to apples,
The
and
depth
you
is just
take
not the same.
if you take their third race, I would
Yeah.
say Maxi Race 60K and Mont Blanc Marathon is way more competitive.
Yeah.
Because UTMB OCC, yeah, cool. Like,
Even Tarawera,
and
yeah,
Sears and
Tarawera
all. Yeah,
doesn't match up to like Sears and all at all. Like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that's insane.
yeah,
So yeah, she is currently my top pick because that's wild.
yeah. I mean, and it seems like whoever Because she runs for Mililani Runners. Whoever is setting up her schedule is doing such a good job because she doesn't race as frequently as like the because the Run Together athletes, they're racing like every weekend. And
Yeah.
Joylene's just racing like 3, 4 times a year and absolutely knocking it out of the park. So
Yeah. Yeah.
props
It'll
to
be
team
interesting if
manager.
she does. Yeah, it'll be interesting if she does World Champs and or Golden Trail
I hope
World
she does
Series
world
final.
champs. I wonder what she would do if she would do short trail or like I mean, she'd obviously be great at short trail, it seems.
Yeah, I feel like I would for sure pick her for, well, if she did, what is it, Mountain Classic,
Yeah,
she'd
Mountain
crush at
Classic would be
that.
the other.
Yeah, it depends
We'll
on how
see.
tired this made her. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so if you're gonna do Troy, Joylene should be your number one, I feel like. Can you think of anybody else?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, just like winning Sears and all, like that alone puts you at like a
pretty high
different level
level.
than everybody else. And then to, yeah,
Yeah.
to add those other two wins on top is like pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm th trying to think like Killian did Sears and all UTMB, but probably didn't even win Mont Blanc Marathon or something like
Oh,
that.
that's a good point. I wonder if that year, that was a crazy year. Did he win Zagama Sears and on UTMB that year? Because
I
I
think
would say
so.
that's very comparable.
Yeah.
Like Zagama, Mont Blanc, like they're both
Yeah.
hella competitive. So that would probably be the only comparable person who's
Yeah.
done such a thing. Yeah, crazy. Insane.
Some, yeah. Some notable dropouts that were kind of a bummer. Davide Magnini did not show up to the start line for OCC, which
I know.
I still feel like that 61K would have been like really good for him too.
Yeah, something fast. I think he would have crushed here. Madeir McGay was another late dropout as well. It seemed like their names got crossed off like pretty late, to be
Which I
honest.
wonder if it was because of the course change. Like I wonder if they're doing world champs or something and they were like this is
Mm,
just too runnable too far now and I
yeah.
like won't recover in the same way.
Which, if that's the case, like respect. They're probably
Yeah.
like, that's too much now to like, because we both know like sometimes these runnable courses, many times,
Oh
take
my
a lot more
God.
out of you. Yeah.
Canyon's 100K
Yeah.
was wrecked for like 8 weeks. And
Canyon's 50K, I was wrecked for
yeah,
so long. Yeah.
and I haven't managed a mountainous 100K before, but even just like a mountainous 50K, the difference is like immediately afterwards, you're like, holy shit, I'm so sore, I can't walk. But then like 3 or 4 days later, you're fine. Whereas those
Yeah.
runnable 50Ks, you're like, my back has never been tighter in my life.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I would
So, I
definitely
mean, it
agree with
makes
that.
sense if they're doing world champs, which I would imagine somebody like Davide is on the Italian team.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah, yeah. I don't know of any notable drops on the women's side prior to the race, but Sophia Lockley dropped during the race.
Yeah.
Um, and there's probably a couple others. I just haven't like dove into that. But I will say on the women's side, the top five were not surprising. Like those women, I had some combo of in the top five.
And even
Um,
Rosa and Ikram, like I had them in the top 10,
and
no question.
yeah, same. Which is, I mean, shout out to them for, I'm pretty sure they were both in the top 10 last year too.
Yeah.
I will say, no US women, but Canada had two
And they
women
were
in the
racing
10.
all day.
Yeah, yeah. So Jasmine Lowther ninth and Elisa Morin in 10th. I honestly don't know. Again, I'd have to dive into it. Like if there's been Canadians in the top 10 before, none come straight to mind right away, but big, big shout out to Canada. Like that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Was no, Jade Bellsberg has not run this race yet. She should run this
Yeah, yeah.
race.
I think she did a post about why she did it. I'd have to like look back on it. Um, and then yeah, Claire DeVoe, top US runner. And yeah, anything else on OCC?
I don't think so. Wild, wild weekend.
Wild weekend. Yeah.
Crazy weather. People are either going to really appreciate this for the World Champs double or they're going to be pretty sore, and we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, we will be doing a World Champs preview. We're currently trying to get our hands on a list of athletes to hopefully do that some justice. And We do, it'll be interesting because, yeah, the question is who is doubling? Jim is doing long trail, which I'm
Yep.
actually very excited for that matchup because Poopy seems to be kind of starting to, he already kind of was, he's already been, he can race quite a bit, but that Katie Scheid-esque where he's being able to recover and still perform at a high level. So the Jim v Poopy in the long trail,
It's going to be
plus
such a good race.
plus Caleb Olson, Zach Miller, like the list goes
Yeah.
on and on. So that's gonna be a really good race. Um, and I think Judith is doubling. Sarah for sure is doubling. I think if I was Switzerland, I would throw Maud in there too. So, and then yeah, David Norris is doubling because he's doing Mountain Classic. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see all these athletes come back.
Yeah. Um, Eli Hemming is doubling. He's
Eli
doing
Hemmings
the
doubling, Tabor's
short trail
doubling,
team.
David
Yeah.
Sinclair's doubling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mainly know the US people because we know they're who's on our teams.
Yeah.
So,
Big
yep.
news on the US team side this year though, or this week. Unfortunately, Ryan Becker had to drop out of his spot on Team USA. He has a tear in like I want to say it was his like uh I cannot think of the tendon that's on the outside of your calf there, but
Oh,
he
perennius
unfortunately,
longus.
yeah, I think so. He has a tear, so he dropped. But Max King, who has been in the top five, or he was second in Thailand. He was like 15th or 17th in Austria, and got surgery back in the beginning of the year, and then was second at Mount Marathon. Is taking Ryan Becker's spot, which I'm super bummed for Ryan, but very stoked for Max. So,
Yeah, that's such a bummer. Hopefully he gets a chance to represent the team in the future because he wanted the spot. That's
oh
always a
yeah,
bummer. But yeah, couldn't think of a better person. And also just someone with like experience to like be there for the other guys and be like, we're
yeah.
we're I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think Max King is somebody that you like can't count out of being like your first or second American like on
Yeah.
any day.
Well,
So
especially with
I'm
it being technical. Like that's his bread
technical
and butter.
and he's not doubling like the last race he ran was Mount Marathon, so it'll be I'm pretty stoked for that.
Yeah, me too. Oh, which by the way, Jess Brazo, she ran ETC. And she was, I want to say she was eighth.
So also technically doubling.
Yeah, she's also technically doubling. Um, oh, there is no post. Come, Oh wait, there it is. Got it, guys. Oh, it doesn't say what place she got, but she was in the top 10. So she's doubling. And then, yeah, Madalena Floria ended up winning that race. I'm gonna guess she is doubling. And
I would think so.
actually,
She's done worlds the last two times.
yeah. So she'll be a weapon on the short stuff. And then Alan Santa Maria Blanco ended up winning the men's race. So yeah, super fun stuff. Well, thanks, y'all. That's OCC. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. We don't know what we're bringing you next week, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Oh, and subscribe to the SubHub headlines because we do have a new newsletter coming out soon.
Yep. Thanks for listening, you guys, and make sure you go check out Never Second and use our code SubHub25 if you order some product before the end of the year, which is apparently a lot more racing than any of us ever think it is. So get your nutrition squared away. We got Mammoth Trail Fest coming up. We've got the Rut. We've got Pikes Peak Marathon. I'm sure you guys are racing all those things. So yeah, check it out, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.